Hello and welcome back to the Preppy podcast. I am so happy you're here and listening. As always, I have a very fun episode. I am talking with Cathy from the Burgess Collection. I love talking with Cathy. Felt like we hit it off right away, and her pieces are just so classic and preppy. You might remember from Camp Preppy Hamptons, I wore one of her seersucker matching sets, the skirt, the blazer, and little tank top underneath. They're just great like staple pieces to build on that you can layer and mix and match. So I really enjoy talking with her about how her career in fashion as a rep led to her starting her own business, originally with sweaters and now expanding to all sorts of women's clothing. So I think you will really enjoy that episode. But before we get into the episode, reminder that we have a couple Camp Preppies on the preppypodcast.com available for purchase. So our upcoming ones for 2026 are first Beaver Creek / Vale area, and that one is going to be such a great time of year. It's in June, so everything is green and lush and the weather's amazing out west. So I'm really excited for that. There's still tickets available. And then following that in August, we are heading to Barnsley Resort, which is outside of Atlanta, Georgia. And it's a beautiful full resort. Like there's golf, there's pool, there's spa, there's restaurants on the property. It's just a great traditional resort, and it's also decorated really beautifully. I visited a few years ago, and even since then they've added on and done some updates, but I remember my trip years ago was just so pretty. I was in awe of the design and the aesthetics there. So that one's going to be very fun in August. We're leaning into Southern traditions and hobbies there. And then finally, we have Kennebunkport in October, and that's sort of our 1-year anniversary celebration. I will say that there are only like 2 or 3 tickets left at this point. So if you want to go there, make sure you get those tickets this week because there will not be any left shortly. But the other 2, we still have a few available. So head to the preppypodcast.com and check those out. And while you're there too, if you'd like more preppy in your life, then we have Club Preppy, which is our monthly membership. We meet at least once a month, a lot of times twice though, where we do preppy activities virtually together, like wine tastings, floral arranging, accessory sessions, all sorts of them, and they get a little prize in the mail that's exclusive to members and designed, around Club Preppy. So a lot of you have reached out about the notebook that I shared on stories, and you saw a lot of members sharing those, and those sadly are not available for purchase. They were for Club Preppy members only. So if you're interested in things like that, join Club Preppy. But all the information on Camp Preppy and Club Preppy is at thepreppypodcast.com. But let's get into this week's episode. Okay, so why don't you first let everyone know who you are, where you live, and what you do?
All right, my name is Cathy Burgess, and I own and I create the collection, the Burgess Collection, and I live in Newport, Rhode Island.
Excellent. Well, I am so excited to have you on today, Cathy, and learn more about your business. You have such a beautiful, classic, preppy pieces. So I'm just thrilled to have you.
Oh, well, I'm excited too. So thankful you reached out. Thank you very much.
Of course. So let's start at the beginning. Tell me about you as a kid. What was your childhood like? Were you someone who always loved fashion, or were creative or entrepreneurial?
I have to say, my mother was very elegant, lovely dresser, great style, not super into fashion, but very elegant. But
Yeah.
growing up, it was a very sports-driven house. 3 brothers and a sister who was an amazing athlete. So it was sports, everything.
Yeah.
Football games, basketball games out front. Not that I was invited to join. But, I do remember my mother would tease me. I would always have to pack my own little suitcase. I would go away with the family and I would change my outfits 3 times a day for, breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah.
So I used to think I was adopted because I didn't fit in. But it's always been in my blood. I don't know how I got there or why, but I've always loved it.
Yes, I am the same way. When I travel for like a conference for work or just vacation, you need a different outfit for like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Like you have to use all those outfits up and make it an occasion.
I am the worst packer still. I'm terrible. I overpack so much, but I can't. I just can't. I have to have options.
Exactly. I have to have options, and I need all the shoes and accessories. Like,
Yes.
look, so I hear you. We are the same in that. So tell me when it came time for college, where and what did you end up studying? Did you study something to do with fashion then, or completely
So
different?
I actually took a year off and I went back to Rhode Island where I grew up, and I started working for a specialty store. I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I loved it. I was very shy. I had no experience, but the owner was amazing and she taught me so much, and it really got me out of my shell. I mean, I was the girl that would hide when a customer came in. I'd hide behind the racks. I was just so nervous and shy, but it really taught me how to communicate, how to work with customers, how to create a relationship with customers.
Yeah.
And after that year, I went to Boston and I went to a retail school on Newbury Street. It was called Chamberlain.
Oh,
And I studied there for 2 years. And then I went back to the specialty store owner and said, what do you think? What should I do? My mind said advertising. I always wanted to get involved in magazines and fashion magazines, but I was not a New York City gal. So
yes.
she gave me the idea to go up to the buying offices in Boston where there were permanent showrooms, and it retail was phenomenal then. And I started knocking on doors with my resume, and I ended up finding my mentor, who was absolutely amazing. So that's how it
That,
all started. I was a sales rep.
okay.
So I worked for her. She was probably the first woman I saw break into higher end fashion
Uh-huh.
or specialty stores.
Okay.
So she was on the cusp of something new. And to work with her for a couple of years was amazing.
That sounds like such a great mentor. And it's funny you mentioned that you were so shy. I was having this conversation with someone the other day that retail will take you out of your shell. It's
Oh,
such
yes.
great people skills, like learning how to talk with anyone. The customer's always right, that sort of thing.
Yes.
You can learn so many skills from working retail. It's like I think people should always work at least a job in retail or a job like at a restaurant or something like that because it gives you so many skills that you can use later in life for different jobs, right?
Agree. To deal
Yeah.
with the public. It's an art
Yes.
form.
Yes.
Yeah, it really is. And I do enjoy it. I
Yeah.
I love sales now.
So then, you worked in sales for a while. And what was your first career like in that and your journey? Were you traveling around a lot, I assume? Like, what did that look like?
Oh my gosh. So I couldn't even read a road map. I was a bit sheltered. So I remember I had to sit down with my dad. He had to teach me how to read a road map because I traveled New England. I was hired by this woman, Cathy, also my namesake. She had 6 New England states. That's what you did as a sales rep for New England. So I would be on the road. I remember my first trip to Marblehead, Mass. I had a stick shift in Boston traffic.
Oh
And
no.
she thought, this will either make or break her if she makes it back and doesn't quit on me. So I truly had to learn everything, but I was determined. I loved what I was doing and I loved the fashion end of it. And
Yeah.
seeing all these stores, I loved it. So the hardest part was for me to learn how to get around. But once I mastered that, it was good.
Yes. Well, I'm the same way. I am not someone, I love New York City. I love visiting, but I don't think I would thrive living there. And honestly, like any big city, personally, I'd love to pop in for, the restaurants, the food, the shopping, but then I need to come to a little bit quieter
I am
place.
the same way. I
Yeah.
always knew it. I remember one time going into New York, um, pregnant, and I was quite pregnant. I was meeting with Talbot's private label, which was a pretty big deal on Madison Avenue.
Yeah.
And I remember I had my portfolio, I had to present for the companies that I repped. And at the end, I didn't even know how to walk back to the showroom. I was going into stores on Fifth Avenue saying, could you point me in the direction of? So I've mastered New York since, but it was not my city when I was younger.
Yeah, well, it sounds like your career in sales gave you, we talked about the people skills, but then also just like life skills and navigation. Now, tell me then how you got into owning a brand. Like, where did that come into the picture and how?
So interesting enough, I've always been fascinated. I don't know why, but well, one of the first companies I did represent was a sweater line,
Okay.
and it had a classic edge to it, but it evolved into many different yarns. It's since gone out of business, but my sister and I used to talk about doing a cotton sweater line, like that classic cable, beautifully made. And we talked about it quite a few times. So in the back of my mind, it was always there. And I'd go into stores and sell, and I'd see different clothing lines made of cashmere, magnificent. But there was never a niche for a year round cotton sweater line that could be worn all year,
Yeah.
could travel with you to your second home, to your southern trip, to your Florida trip. So when I got tired of being on the road, which was about 2015, 16, I I was just getting burnout and I wanted a career change.
Mhm.
And I didn't think of leaving the industry, but I thought, what else can I do? And I have a lot of knowledge because I've been doing it a long time. And I decided to start my own sweater line, cotton driven. I found this amazing luxury cotton with a little bit of cashmere that I loved. I reached out to the original owner of the sweater line, who I used to rep when I was much younger, and he gave me some great advice. I found a factory that I worked with in China, and I'm not a designer, but I really created a clothing line, and I still repped a little. And as
Okay.
I repped while I tried to build up, I would take it on the road with me in New England. So
Uh-huh.
that's how I sort of started production, everything. Yeah, it's quite amazing that I actually produced a sample line, went out and sold it, and was able to produce it with my lack of knowledge in that end of the business. But it worked.
Yes, no, there's a few things that you talked about in there that I think are so valuable. The one, it sounds like throughout your career you've had mentors, which I think is so important to anyone, no matter their industry. So it sounds like you've had a few of those, and then it also sounds like this was sort of like a second life, a second career for you, which I think is so inspiring.
Thank you. I started it in 2017. The sweaters took off. We did very well. And then 2 years ago, I decided, you know what? I really want to dress the whole woman. I really want to get into filling the whole outfit for
Yes.
her. And it was a leap of faith because I changed the name from Burgess Sweaters to the Burgess Collection.
Okay.
2 years in, it's finally catching up. Like it was tough. People
Yes.
didn't think I was making the right decision,
Okay.
but this spring has been amazing. I'm so happy. The stores are so happy with the product. Our online business is good. So it makes me happy that it is clicking, it's working, and here we go. So
That is so amazing. So when you first launched that, obviously you had been in the industry of fashion for a while, but not designer necessarily. You worked a lot with designers and brands. So what do you think was the biggest learning curve there? And then what do you think is something that you came into this new business with a little bit of a step ahead just based on your past career?
I'd say the experience, I did so many New York shows for years, so many sales meetings, watching the line being produced, watching the line. I've lived through that. Did
Yeah.
I tap into it? Was I involved in it? No, but my experience with stores, what retails, the owners of these companies, we'd have sales meetings, boards would be put up. I'd see their thought process through design,
Mhm.
how it was broken up, fabrics, color stories. So I didn't realize how much knowledge I did have.
Yeah.
Where the knowledge was production. I produce in China and I have wonderful relationships. I have two factories I work with that I truly adore these people. They work so nicely with me. But when you work with China, you work with them at 2 and 4 in the morning. So
Yeah.
I'm up doing emails and trying to get on time. Otherwise, I have to wait another 24 hours. So um, and specs and creating the design so it's produced properly. That was a huge obstacle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes total sense. And I love what you mentioned too is that you stayed repping brands for a little bit when you first launched because I think people listening who aspire to someday start something, a lot of women that I've had on this podcast, they started that way. Even me with my PR business, my full-time PR business, I started it when I was working at another agency, and they allowed me to, like, I was able to freelance because I think it's hard to take a big leap like that, and financially,
Oh,
um,
yes.
yeah, easing into it is a great way to start.
Yes. Yeah, because I had the relationship with stores already. So
Mhm.
why not bring my product to the stores I have relationships with? And the other helping factor was when I would do the New York shows, I'd meet reps throughout the country that are also in New York at the booth with us,
Yeah.
repping the same lines. So I knew the step to go next would be the South. I knew the South had amazing specialty store business. I knew Florida was a great hub.
Mm.
And that's also the next step I went into. I found a rep in I'm sorry, in the South at the Atlanta market. I went
Okay.
on the road myself in Florida. My girlfriend Leah made a list for me because her mom was down in Vero and she said, I know fabulous stores. You should knock on their doors. And I did. I just rented a car, stayed with family, and knocked on doors and created great relationships.
Yes.
So,
I
yeah,
think as an
moving down
entrepreneur,
south for retail was important.
yes. And as an entrepreneur, it's like no job is too small. Like you said, you stayed with friends and family, you went into the stores, knocked on the doors yourself. And that's so important. And you kind of need to do that when you're starting out because it's important to talk one on one with the customers or with the stores and to make FaceTime with people, right?
Yeah, and show that, your product is worthy to be in their store, that you care and that the product is made very well. I take
Mhm.
great pride in the quality of my product, and I know there's so much fast fashion out there, but and that's a response I've gotten a lot for spring. I had a store call me and say, I just can't tell you how happy I am, and your product is, if I can say that, beautiful. The production of it is beautiful. I can tell you care about quality, and that means a
Amazing.
lot to me.
Definitely. So you had talked about that you started with sweaters, obviously, and then you added, more products, more styles because you wanted to dress the whole woman. So what did that look like? Like, did you add one at a time? Did you add the
Oh,
skirt
no.
together, or like tell me the journey of growing the line and the collection?
So the funny part, I should have started with one or two items, a bottom perhaps or a skirt, but no, I went full force. I created my first fall collection 2 years ago, and I had so much fun. I did leather, like I have any experience, but in beautiful creams and taupes.
Yeah.
I started expanding in yarn for sweaters. I wasn't just doing the cotton. I did, oh my God, I did faux shearling, which I did shearling coats, shearling vests. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, I even got into, do you remember that 2 years ago there was the long straight skirt? I did it in a gold denim, which
Oh,
very sophisticated, not bold, but I really stepped into, I love faux fur. Oh, I created faux furs
wow.
and I loved it, but it's quality.
Uh-huh.
I really stepped out.
Seriously. Yeah, with different materials and silhouettes.
Yes. Yeah. It was a huge leap, but 2 years later, it's worth it. Yeah. But it was a little scary in the beginning, but I did love exploring all those different fabrics and
Mhm.
creating new product.
Oh, I'm sure. In terms of marketing, I work in PR, and so marketing and PR, I love hearing what's working for people. I'm curious, how did you get the word out about your brand and grow the brand? It sounds like with your background, it might have been through stores and wholesale, but was there anything else that really worked for you in finding your customer and selling that you could share with listeners here?
So, if I started it in 2017, I truly had to learn social media.
Yeah.
So, social media was Instagram and Facebook. So, I remember because back in the day when it was, I sound so old, when it was newer, it was much easier to navigate and much easier to run. So, I had two black labs. Every morning, I would get up and walk them. I would post social media. I'd use the same hashtags, and I would post at the same time every day.
Okay.
And that led me to, plus, we built an email list. An email has been a driving tool for our e commerce.
Yeah.
And some people, even the stores that I knew, would be like, luxury cotton? Are you sure? Are you serious? But it's slowly through, I ran my own social media as well as everything else in the beginning. Now it's a bit of a beast, if I
Yeah.
can say. It's grown so much with YouTube and threads and, but I've handed that part off. I'm very involved in it, but I've handed that off. But the social media end definitely helped us grow. And
Yes.
doing shows,
Okay.
and constant emails throughout the week, at least 2 out a week about the brand.
Okay. Well, it sounds like, really consistency is what mattered because it sounded like you're posting at the same time every day so people knew that they could find you on their Instagram feed, or even then you mentioned sending 2 emails out a week, like that consistency showing up for your customers.
Definitely. That I thought that played an important role. I look back now thinking, gosh, I wish it was that easy still, but it's not. Now we're into Google Ads and Meta, and it's grown. It's yeah, I need an outsource for that, to be honest, to keep up with it.
So, since you started with sweaters, I'm curious, are the sweaters still your bestseller? Or like, what's your bestseller right now on your website? And then what would you say is your personal favorite?
I'd have to say we started a knit blazer
Okay.
using the same yarn source rather, but it's a different combination. It's a cotton, cashmere, silk, and nylon blend.
Oh,
It's a washable, it's called the Millie. It's
okay.
been on our line for several years. It is washable. We do a tortoise button. So
Mhm.
that's been a mainstay classic on our website.
Okay.
The other item that helped launch us was called the travel coat. That was the first item that really took off for us. And I took a little break from it, a little hiatus, and I'm bringing that back. The other sweater that is performing above and beyond my expectations is the Abigail. It's on the website in 3 colors, and we overstocked it because we're doing so many reorders on it. But I'd have to say the Abigail, the Millie, and then we have a couple of blouses, crisp cotton blouses that are doing really well on the website. It's called the Kiki and the Kitty. I know, I can't believe I
I love
named
that.
them that,
They're so cute.
but they're great with our Serena satin skirts. They're
Oh,
great tops. But I do love designing a blazer, a jacket.
yes.
So I do. I enjoy that. That's how I got into the faux fur. So I'm in a warehouse. I have 3 racks that are personally my own coats that I've kept
Okay.
throughout the years, and a lot of vintage. So I love making jackets. That's probably my favorite thing to design.
Okay. That's so interesting. Okay. So what's your favorite jacket right now then? Is it like your seersucker blazer, or what would you say
I
right
love the seersucker because we put a lot of stretch in it and a very light lining.
now? Ooh.
And I've always loved seersucker, and people think of it as too preppy, old school, but it's making a comeback.
Oh,
We
totally.
did an incredible Lauren skirt, it's called, with the seersucker. We did I can even show it's behind me, the Lulu
Yeah.
tank. I'll
Show
show you.
it. Yeah.
So this is my little Lulu tank. So the 2 pieces that they're
Yes.
showing, the sets. We did a Lauren skirt, which is right above the ankle, and the skirt is just an easy stretch with a back zip.
Oh, I love that. I'm gonna need to buy that one.
I can send it to you. And this is the Olivia that I have on, 3/4 sleeve, casual or dressy if you need it to be. With
Yeah.
it's just a super stretch, super
Yeah.
cozy. But then we went fun. We did a little short with a little ruffle.
Oh, fine.
I know. And then I have a skirt on, which I'm not showing you because I'm so pale. But this is the Abigail, isn't
Oh,
she?
so classic.
Oh my
Yes.
God. It's washable, it's bouncy, it's not super clingy. I love it. And the
Uh-huh.
stripes are so in. So we have this in 3 colors.
Oh, amazing. All of them are very like preppy, and they remind me of Newport. Like they'd be perfect for walking around Newport in.
But I forgot to tell you, the number one jacket that's retailing is our short trench. I'd
Oh,
love to show it to you.
cute.
It's called
Yes.
Victoria. But here it is, a lounge,
Oh,
and we
that's
did a
beautiful.
leopard lining,
Uh-huh.
amazing buttons, and the
Cute.
detail of it. But that this year, I can't believe I forgot to tell you that the Victoria. Who knew?
Beautiful. I feel like those shorter like crop trenches are totally having a moment right now. They're very fashionable.
And I took that from the archives of my coat, something that I had that I recreated. Yeah.
So cool. Oh my gosh. I'm curious, who would be a dream customer for you if you could dress like any celebrity or any royal or influencer, like who would be a dream?
Oh, okay. I would love to dress Erin Lauder because
Oh,
I think
she's
her
a good one.
style is so chic.
Hmm.
Oh, mm, who else? Well, I don't know if you can tell on my wall, Julia Roberts is wearing a sweater
Oh,
behind me, and
yeah.
everyone thinks it's mine. It looks very close to mine, but it is not.
Okay, that's a
I
really
would,
good one too.
yeah, I would love to dress her because I think that classic edge would be incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Um, who else? That's a great question, Patricia. What else would I like to? Hmm.
I think Julia Roberts is such a good answer, and I haven't had that answer before. But I could totally see her in, your beautiful skirt and a cozy sweater. She's
You, yeah,
chic. Yep.
yeah. It's funny because I love that era of Jackie Onassis and Slim Keith, and I'm going way back, but I've always, since I was a little girl, loved, Babe Paley. It's old. I just, those
There's
people.
Hollywood. Yeah.
Oh,
All of
yeah.
them.
Yep.
Yes.
That high society of New
Yeah.
York with Slim Aaron's a photographer.
Yeah.
Huge fan. Huge.
Oh, 1,000%. So since this is the Preppy podcast, I always ask everyone, what does Preppy mean to you? So how would you describe Preppy?
So I was, when the first Preppy handbook came out, fascinating. So
Mm-hmm.
I lived it. Um, and I loved it, and I dress like that. If you could see my senior high school picture, she went for layers of the polo with this
Yes.
Chris Cotton and the Fair Isle.
Yep.
So it's so interesting watching someone like J Press. I don't know if you know that company that's making a
Yes. Yeah,
relaunch.
they're making a relaunch.
I think of it as classic, beautiful quality, beautiful sweaters, and a certain lifestyle, of skiing, resorts,
Yep.
travel, golf. Now
Well,
it's Marjan. Just that whole, Palm Beach, up and down the East Coast, and sailing. And
yeah.
it's truly Newport. When I moved here 8 years ago, about 8 years ago,
Huh?
I just fell in love with it. I grew up in Rhode Island, but it's a different world over in Newport. The
Yes.
eclectic people you meet, it's truly fascinating to me, and I love Newport.
Newport is very preppy. It's just such a beautiful place there by the
It is,
coast.
and it comes alive when spring and summer to see the way women dress and what they put together and the colors. It's fun. It's really fun because people really dress here.
Yeah, they definitely do. And now, in terms of business, do you have a tip or a resource you could share with listeners, whether it's a great book you've read, or a newsletter you love, or someone you follow on social media, like anything that you think could help other businesses that are listening?
Let me see. When I started, I'm a big reader of fashion books,
Mhm.
fashion magazines, and I think being a part of New York, being a part of all these shows, being in stores, getting to know what's out there, what is selling, you really have to throw yourself into it to really get to know the business.
Yeah.
I would before you launch. There's a young woman that I think I recommended you to interview. She's called the Prep Edit.
Oh
And
yeah.
I've been in this long enough that I love to reach out to people and say, wow, what a great job you're doing. And I just watch all this young talent out there that I find so amazing.
Mhm.
I think I find that the younger generation right now in fashion, the ones who really care about quality, the ones who really want to produce something worthwhile, I
Yes.
have my eye on. And I'm always reaching out to them. I guess I become more of a mentor, and I really enjoy that. So if I were to listen to podcasts on fashion, I still get Vogue, Harper's Bazaar, Vanity Fair. I love fashion magazines. I love Slim Aarons is making a comeback now with Lily Pulitzer.
Yes.
So even looking at Lily Pulitzer and how she pulled it all off and watching that company grow, slowly drop and then rise again. Fascinating. So I read, explore a lot on my own.
Okay, I love that. Constantly a student. That's how I am too. I like to keep learning. And that fashion show that they did for Lily Pulitzer a few months ago was just beautiful and in Florida, yes, and so
I was like,
creative.
why didn't I go? I would have loved that.
Uh-huh. But it sounds like also too, we talked about at the beginning of the podcast, you finding mentors along the way. And now it sounds like it's almost full circle. Like you're able to pay it forward and mentor others, which I think is so rewarding, right?
I know, and I love it. There's a young woman who was our model, who was our face of our brand when we launched. Beautiful young woman. And I think it might be over a year now. She wanted to start her own brand. And I immediately helped her. I thought, and she has great taste, great style. She actually knows how to sketch. But I immediately gave her leads on, where I produce, who to
Hmm.
go after, try
Wow.
this. But I love helping other women. It's a hard business. And I think
Yes.
women supporting women in business is incredible. Like I can go into New York and go, there's a great line called Lilla P.
Hmm.
Paulina's from the South. She's the loveliest lady. I can call her and ask her advice. There's another line out there, Marie Oliver, that's on fire down south.
Yep.
You just ask other women, and some aren't that friendly with that, but I do. I try and help, people who are starting out. That's why I reached out to the Prep Edit. I thought, you know what, whatever you're doing, you're very good at. And she's was a school teacher.
Yes, she's fabulous. Her and I chat on Instagram. Yes, she has amazing style. Hmm.
Yeah, so it's fun exploring and finding these new people.
Yes, 1,000%. I love those stories.
And
Um,
I'm good friends with Jessica from Lysette.
yes, yes.
I love her social media.
Jessica's amazing. She's doing
Isn't
such
she?
great creative things with, such an old hobby, an old craft, and making it modern. I just love seeing all the collaborations and the designs that she's doing
Isn't
going.
it fun? And she's here in Newport too. And Betty, who runs the store here, so busy, such
Hmm.
an incredible business that who knew? But
Yeah.
it's incredible the women who love doing it.
1,000%. What I'm curious, do you have any preppy hobbies? I know you mentioned like mahjong before, and we're talking about needlepoint, but like, what's some of your favorite things to do in your spare time? Any preppy hobbies?
I'll make you laugh. So they all want me to needlepoint because all my girlfriends do.
Yes.
I keep saying, "Can I buy it finished?" Because I'm not a needle pointer. Yes, can I? And then I pretty much got kicked out of Marjan class because, in a great way, because the woman who runs it here, Dotsie, she said, Kathy, you've got to start practicing. You can't keep coming to lessons. But you know what, Patricia, I work too much. I
Yeah.
work a lot.
Hey, if you love what you do, though, then it makes work easy and fun, right?
Yeah. And I love tennis. I love running. I do like sports, but not basketball and football. But it's funny. I'm like, I need to take up a hobby, but
Well, it sounds like you're busy, and yeah, tennis and running, those are great, great
yeah.
hobbies. What are you working on right now? Like any sneak peeks you can share with listeners?
Ooh. So I've designed spring 27 already.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yep, I can tell you, which is fast. I'm this early, which normally I'm not because I'm out doing shows and I'm
Uh-huh.
traveling because I still go out and sell. So I've already done the 4 color palettes.
Okay.
That's very interesting. And I'm getting into some prints and
Okay.
stripes and collaborating. I was very solid driven in the beginning,
Uh-huh.
but now I'm getting a little more creative with tweeds and fun fringe and
Cool.
not such a clean aesthetic. I'm really adding color pops and I'm really having fun with it. The first delivery is a lot of, I went to Italy for the first time this last spring.
The
So I brought
best.
a lot of ideas into this first delivery of different shades of blue, like the water. We were in Capri, all the different, I just am having a lot of fun there.
Yeah.
And my second group is pinks and greens. Imagine that. But I
Oh,
like
so
a
preppy.
limey green, bright pink, and then a very petal pink.
Okay.
But yeah. And
Gorgeous.
then, yeah, my next delivery, I have the board here, but I won't show you. I know it's you should see this thing. But I this is the first time it's come together so easily for me since I've started 2 years ago. And I
Yes.
feel I've got proven bodies I can bring back. We launched a French terry cloth.
Oh,
Like I
cool.
have a terry cloth that's had a little resurfacing,
Hmm.
and I'm doing a French terry, a little lighter weight, but I'm doing that again in
Okay.
bright colors. So yeah, it's been a lot. I'm bringing back seersucker again because
Okay.
it's done
Exciting.
very well, and
Yeah.
I've created a lot of new jackets.
Oh,
So yeah,
I cannot wait. This all sounds amazing, especially that pink and green collection. I'm like, that has my name all over it.
good.
So the final question is, where can people find you? Like, let them know your website URL, social media handles, anything like that that you want to plug and promote.
So everything is under the Burgess Collection. I
Easy.
am in a ton of specialty stores down south and in Florida. I sell to a lot of the Monkeys chain down south.
Okay.
Let's see. In New England, I sell to specialty stores on Nantucket, Martha's Vineyard, and Newport. I sell to. That's why I don't own my own store. I
Yeah.
sell to stores here. Um, we are on Instagram. We are on Facebook. We have I think, a very pretty, clean website
Yeah.
under the Burgess Collection. And yeah, and you can always reach out. I'm involved in every aspect of it. Like I even go online and help people pick out things if they message
Oh,
me.
yeah.
Yeah, I want to make that customer happy.
Yes. That's so great. And so people who are looking for a store locally on your website, are they listed or should they just email and
They
find
can
out?
email me.
Okay.
Yes, I know. I haven't listed the stores. I see different websites do that. I don't, maybe
Hard to
someday.
keep
I
up
haven't
with.
yet.
It's hard to keep up with, I feel
It
like.
is like that's a whole nother job. So,
Yeah. Well, that's amazing. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. I love chatting with you today and learning more about you and your business. And it was just an absolute pleasure having you.
you see, Patricia, I'd like to even know more about you in the advertising world
Oh, you're
at
so
a later date. Thank
yes,
you
yes.
so much. I
Thank
really enjoyed it.
Thank you so much for listening to the Preppy Podcast. I hope this put a little prep in your step for the day. Please subscribe, rate, and review on wherever you listen to your podcast, and follow along with @the Preppy Podcast on social media.